So today's subject is quite interesting. It's about what no one tells you about marrying an older man. I mean, really, what could they tell you about marrying an older man? I mean, really, what could they tell you about marrying an older man? I mean, all men are not created equal. Not even younger men are created equal. I'm older now, and I do realize there are some limitations that I do have in life. I can't do the same things I used to. I can't throw a ball 100 yards. Well, I couldn't do that when I was younger either. But there are a lot of things that I'm not able to do. But there are also other things that I can do and achieve quite well. But I tell you, one of the biggest things that makes women feel good about marrying an older man is the conversations. You don't have to do too much talking when you marry an older guy. He will just talk, 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 talk. And women tend to like to listen to these older men talk. And I know this from good truths that have been shared to me by many, many women who are in these relationships. As you probably know, I do relationship coaching. I've talked to thousands of couples over the last few years. Actually, over the last 3 years, I've talked to over 6,000 people in my coaching route, which is pretty awesome. And I've learned a lot. And I've learned that there's a lot of misunderstandings when it comes to dating older men and for the older men who date younger women. But I'll tell you one thing that's so true: statistics. Statistics are the worst things you can go to. Statistics says that older men, younger women relationships have a high failure rate. It depends what segment you're looking at. I mean, if you're looking at people who don't have anything in common, or you're just looking straight across the board and you're not putting people in categories like they generally do with other statistics. I mean, you just can't take a statistic and group everybody into the same situation. You have to be responsible with your statistics and be able to state these are people that have professional jobs. These are people that work regular jobs. These are people that like the color blue. I mean, you have to have some sort of parameters to make these quick claims, such as. So I don't really care about statistics. They say no matter what, if you're married 3 times or if you're married twice and you get married on the third time, that the likelihood of that relationship ending in failure is like over 100%. How can anything be over 100%? Right there, the statistic is wrong in itself. Reality says life is what you want it to be. So if you spend the time as an older man to make sure you focus your attention on the right younger woman, then you might have a better situation. But what is the right younger woman? That's the woman that allows you to be yourself. Now, this is true in any relationship. I mean, it's not much difference. That's what I'm trying to get people to understand between an older man dating a younger woman or dating his peer, or a younger woman dating her peer. It's not too much differences there. The only differences usually come in the physical. Now, that might surprise you with some older men, and it might not, might be expected. But then there's some women, the same thing. It might surprise you one way or the other. The bottom line is those relationships are held between those two people, and that part of it is quite private. But we're not going there because that is not the purpose of this channel to indulge in such conversations. The purpose of this channel is just the awareness as to why there's nothing weird with an older man dating a younger woman. Older men, even when it comes to travel, love to travel. The only time you'll probably have an older man that's not going to travel is if he just doesn't have the money to do so. But older people are jet setters. They love to live at the airport. Go to the airport and pay attention to how many people older than you are if you're in your 20s and 30s. Look at all the people in their 40s and 50s and 60s and 70s that are constantly traveling. I've got an older couple that lives a couple of blocks up the road from me, and they travel often. They travel like maybe 7 or 8 times a year. They're always back and forth going someplace. This is just what they do. Now, you got younger couples don't even travel twice a year. They just don't travel. So you can't even limit it to that. So with an older man, expect to travel. The man is a jet setter. If he's got money, he's going to want to go. If you guys can save together, put it together, because it's not about all his money, it's about the community money that comes into that relationship, then you're going to have some really good, successful trips, some memories, vacation time, the great exploration. It's going to be amazing. Another thing about older men tend to love to cook. Now, I'm not saying all older men, because I know some older men that just don't cook. They rather go out and eat. So then you have to figure out what type of older man do you like? Do you Want an older man that cooks? You've got plenty out there. See, everything you're looking for. You want a younger man that cooks? You've got plenty out there. It's all in the choices that you choose. But the things that people don't tell you about an older man when he cooks, he might not use all the seasons that he used to use. It might be a little different. But that's guess what? The meat's gonna be perfect. I can remember having a meal with my father. My father, oh my goodness, he made one of the best chicken meals I've had to this date. All right, and this was about over 20 years ago. Fortunately, my dad died, but the reality is the man could cook, and he was an older man. Now, I also am a chef. My father was not a chef by trade, but I had become a chef by trade, even though I had multiple online businesses. I still consider myself to be a chef, but I like flavorful food. So it just depends. If you grow up in an environment where the food is not flavorful and spicy and all this, then you won't be cooking that even as an older man. And it's totally okay to be this way. I mean, for me, cooking food is a privilege. I dream about cooking. So if I was with someone and she's younger, let me tell you, we fighting in the kitchen. But if she knows how to cook, I'm gonna resign. I'm gonna let her go away. Because guess what? Older men just don't have that fight in them that they used to have. So they're quick to just like, you know what, have it your way. Because you know what? We've already learned in life that arguing and fussing doesn't result in happiness. You cannot argue your way through a situation and find peace and joy. You have to, at some point, stop talking. So that's one thing women find to be pretty amazing is that older men just don't do the yelling and fussing, just don't have the energy for it, and we've never seen any good results for it over time. Other things that they didn't tell you about older men is that you know what? We don't always get up as early as you think. Sometimes people have the mindset to think older people always get up early. No, older people get up anytime they want to. Now, me, granted, okay, I get up at 4:30 every morning. Now, this just started with me about 3 years ago. Traditionally, I would love to sleep to about 7 or 8 o'clock, but now that's like late. That's like my day is already pre-planned, and at 8 o'clock, if I would wake up 8 o'clock now, oh, that would be just a horror event because there's so many things that would not have been accomplished. Even my youngest son, who owns his own software company at 19, he gets up a couple of mornings a week at 4 a.m. He starts his work because this company can work anytime he wants, clients all around the world. He gets up at 4 a.m. So I meet him in the hallway. Hey man, good morning. How you doing? Going to work? Yeah, going to work. And we just go into our different offices. And he goes in his and I goes in mine. It's pretty cool that way, pretty dynamic. That's our structure. It's just me and my son. So that's our structure. But it's kind of fascinating that you know what? I get up early and I don't sleep much. I am not the type of person that sleeps throughout the day. Now, if I've got absolutely nothing to do, and I am reasonable, sometimes you will take a nap. It's not often that I'll take a nap because I don't have the time, or I don't have a chance to take a nap because I have so many things to do in my daily activities. But I'm busy. I'm busy being me. I'm busy doing the things that I choose to do. And that's another thing about older men. Older men tend to not waste much time. We tend to like to do things that we enjoy. We do not like to do things that bring us no joy and no peace. So if you're dating an older man, expect the man to want to just spend his time in the things that are real. If you just want to go out to amusement parks and things like that, those things are cool. But he's not getting on a roller coaster. He's not willing to take those chances because he's older. And even though he might have a lot of vitality in him and he may have a lot of youthfulness and he may have a lot of energy and stamina and these things, he's still smart enough to realize he's an older man. This is something he never forgets. So, in your quest to be with a man that just meets your dreams. You've got a conversationalist. I mean, what could be greater than that? You've got someone that's got a history of stories that can tell you things, maybe fill in some gaps of things you didn't know. But you bring a lot of treasure too as a younger woman to an older man in these relationships. Your path is different than his. You've been different places. You've had your own series of experiences in life. And it's absolutely amazing that you've been able to accomplish these things. So the beauty is just like any relationship, relationships are about bringing two people together, bringing two histories together, bringing two, journeys together. And on these journeys, you just share these experiences and it's really uplifting and exciting. So there's a lot of joys that come from a positive relationship. There's some negatives too, but we'll talk about that the next time. Listen, I thank you for listening and I thank you for watching and I hope you found some value. But if you know someone who's considering dating a younger woman, dating an older man, or an older man considering dating a younger woman. Share these videos with them. Give them an insight. This is like passing the test before you take the test because you're going to get the mindset that's necessary, and you'll also gain not necessarily the experience, but real appreciation for the way life is between an older man and a younger woman. Listen, it's been great. I'll see you in the next video. And remember, look at it this way and do great things today.